Welcome to the Cups of Consciousness show. I am Aleya, your host. I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine, a sound healer, the author and founder of the 7 Cups of Consciousness. I have produced 9 sound healing albums and have recorded over 2,000 meditations online. I am an energy practitioner and help people shift their consciousness using their energetic fields. And this show is all about using your energetic fields to shift your consciousness, as well as exploring energetic concepts that help you create a more empowered and connected life. This episode is an energetic session that explores concepts, energetic practices, and protocols that are similar to a prayer, which help you transform particular aspects of your life. When you listen, recognize that some part of you is using your energetic fields to shift your vibration, which in turn shifts your consciousness, your behaviors, your beliefs, how you react and respond. You might even go into an altered state, so use caution if you're driving or doing something that requires a focused mind. With all of this work that I present, remember that it is your energy shifting you in your own unique way. That way you stay in control and empower with your process. So take a deep breath in, pull yourself into your line of light, and explore your inner terrain in a safe and supported space. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Cups of Consciousness podcast with me, Aleya Dow, and Ashley Coatney. I have known Ashley for I want to say 20 years, maybe a little longer than 20 years. And you were instrumental in helping me create the reality that I am living in now. And I'm just every day so grateful to you. And it's such an honor to have you on the show, Ashley.
It's an honor to be here.
I want to share with our listeners a little bit about who you are. You are so much more than any word on paper could ever relay, but I will try to just share with people your background. You are a doctor of Oriental medicine. Ashley received her doctorate of acupuncture in Chinese medicine and integrative health from the Five Branches University in 2017. She is also a certified functional medicine practitioner. She has practiced for over 20 years in the healing arts and a wide variety of teachings. She is a primary care provider in the Central Valley and specializes in women's health and fertility, and works as a doula on specialized cases. Ashley studied in China, specializing in pediatrics and pain management. Her treatments are customized to the individual and often include acupuncture, fire cupping, hot stones, magnetic therapy, moxibustion, electroacupuncture, vibrational medicine with bowls, tuning forks, possibly energetic protocols, as well as using aromatherapy in every session. She consults on medical lab analysis utilizing nutrition, Chinese herbs, and supplements. Ashley is an incredibly skilled aromatherapist for over 30 years. She has an incredible line of essential oils and incense that I love, that she has crafted to balance the organ systems and meridians. Ashley's passion is truly serving people at the level that they're at to be able to receive their highest good. She is a very gentle soul, very kind, very curious, incredibly intuitive, and holds such a safe container for people in their process of awakening and healing.
Thank you.
Did I get that right, Ash?
That was amazing. Great.
You
It's
are
so
amazing.
interesting to hear it like that. I'm
I
like,
know.
oh,
It's that different perspective of like, oh yeah, I did do all those things.
yeah. Wow, it's been a long time.
It has. You've gone through so many iterations, and you've also been not only a birth doula, but a death doula. And
Yes, that's
and
true.
right, so like so many
Several.
different hats that you've held for people. And I would love to have you share with our listeners how you got intrigued in the service of healing, holding your creative energy in that way, and continuing your education process in so
That's
many different
great.
branches.
I think that I was born to be of service and be a healer. I think that when I was born, that was my path. How I landed on the training. So it's the teachers that came across my path that guided me to where I'm at now. You're one of them. I've had several teachers over the years, even now even acupuncture, learning new modalities. And I was just guided to that because was working through a lot of layers and Western medicine wasn't working for me. And so I happened to stumble across a meditation center where I started meditating and meditated for 6 hours a day. I dove in, for almost a year. That's where I met Doug, and started a form of healing called pranic healing. And from there, I met Aleya. I learned all the protocols, which I remember when I was studying with you, I would write down everything over and over and just embody it. And so that those teachings have really been kind of the anchor to the work I've done and branched out. So I was called to it. I didn't decide, it just happened. I was going to be a nurse, but then I took a left turn to Chinese medical school, and here I am now. And I just am combining all the modalities I've learned, plus my history of my being on planet Earth and maybe my past lives, and bringing it into working with the body. I've realized that I connect to the body consciousness more than anything. And when I'm sitting with a patient, I'm connecting to their body consciousness. And when they say they have an intention for themselves, sometimes the body shows me something else. And so I work directly with the body. So before I put any acupuncture needles, use any herbs, anything, I do a form of, it's called body feedback testing. It's different than muscle testing. I use the alarm points in the body that correlate to the organs and meridians, to decide what points, what herbs to prescribe. So I use the neck flexors. So the back is the kidney and the liver and the stomach, and it goes deeper. And then I'll feel that if I push an acupuncture point and the neck slightly tightens, I know that's not the right point. So the body tells me everything. I don't put in an acupuncture needle unless I test first. And I've learned how to be fast. But I hope that I just kind of went sideways, but I wanted to share that piece
No,
of, I learned
that's brilliant. That's brilliant because
yeah,
the biggest thing that I see as people start to meditate, do spiritual work, strengthen their energetic fields, cultivate greater degrees of awareness, then it increases sensitivity as well, which is always a bit of a double-edged sword. The soul that's riding in the body, from my perspective, starts to override the body consciousness. And
mhm,
there are so many people that I work with, and probably you, where they come in and their body's crumbling, just getting totally crushed, and no one can figure it out. And
mhm,
so that perspective of listening to the body and its voice that's different than the soul, that starts to override when we start to move into a more awakened state. So, what an incredible way of working with the body and giving the body a voice and its natural voice, as opposed to like having to hear what the body is saying, to be able to feel different points and get a sense of, body, what are you really wanting? And then that helps empower the body in maybe holding a stronger voice and not getting overridden by the soul.
yeah, yeah. And I feel with the body, it's earth, it's an animal, and the body wants to be seen, it wants to be validated. And instead of, I validate in a way where I'm filling every organ and I'm taking the pulse, I'm filling every organ and meridian, I'm touching the body and palpating different places. And I found that that's right there, that's where the healing begins. As soon as I validate from a place of, feeling the pulse and
Acknowledging
saying,
it.
oh, that feels right. And acknowledging, the body starts settling, starts feeling safe within its own container, because the validation it's almost like it reflects to them to validate themselves, and they start going deeper
And
into,
have you noticed that when that happens, does that fight or flight response in the central nervous system start to regulate?
yes, absolutely. Now I have patients, as soon as it's like they'll come in, they'll be stressed. As soon as they jump on the table, because there's a container there, they go right into nervous system regulation, and then we dive right into treatment. I'm not a big talk person, so my intakes, I will listen for the first session, and we will talk so they get to know me. But I'm really big on, so looking at the energy, and then let's jump on the
Right.
table and let's get to work. Let's
Right.
get that that healing mechanism within yourself. Let's get that started to roll, because
And
I don't
resolved.
really do anything the body's not gonna do itself. It's almost like
And
being
then
able to see.
you're also tending to the layers that the body's ready to tend to, as opposed to
Yeah,
like if somebody comes in and they're like, I want to lose weight. And you're like, but your body needs to sleep and your body's not sleeping.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't um I love working that way because it gives the empowerment for healing back to my patients.
Hmm.
And I don't see a patient every week. I see a patient preferably once a month. So I
And
give them
why
their
is that?
homework,
Why is that?
because the treatments, first of all, 75% of the healing has to do with them. So if they do their homework, I give them a lot of homework. And then also the treatments are really potent because I'm working on all levels. I'm not just working on the physical. I am working energetically too, because they kind of maybe have some stuff on there. I help them kind of clear their energy fields before I put my hands on them. And so that treatment lasts way longer. I don't need to see them every week, just once a month. And they do their homework. And I find that to be the best. 1 month is what most of my patients see me every month. So
Beautiful. And
if
do
I
you,
see an acute case, then
mhm.
maybe it's once a week, but I never do anything more than one time a week.
And then
So,
once they're out of the acute, then they can go more into, okay, let's bring in things to help you repattern different
yes.
practices.
And then give them tools so they can empower themselves
Right.
and work within themselves, because ultimately the responsibility for healing is on them.
Right.
And when they make a contract and a decision to walk through my door, they're saying to themselves, I want to care for myself deeply. And then I'm there to facilitate that. But it continues. When I'm out of the picture and they're doing their thing, they're continuing to care for themselves and being aware of their body
And
and what it
you're a
needs.
reflection of that.
My reflection of that, yes.
Hmm.
So,
And you just spoke to a really key piece because a lot of the times when we walk through the door of a practitioner, a healer, a doctor, it can be very disempowering. And then that practitioner or that doctor might truly take responsibility for that person's journey. And
mm,
then that practitioner or doctor, because they're holding that responsibility, they might start to try to control and shame and also not be able to listen. And
mm,
then we don't feel like we're in control of our process. And then we're constantly looking for the approval external instead of internal. And so that space that you hold really breaks that pattern. And so have you ever found somebody who is used to being disempowered when they walk through the door? Do they ever have any challenges with you being like, I'm not going to take responsibility for your healing process? You can?
I think I have had that in the past.
Yeah.
In the past, I had a lot of that. But now, I think my energy fields have shifted. So those types of people don't actually come into my field anymore. I think as a practitioner, I'm learning. So anything that I feel, even if someone has a kidney adrenal issue, and I put my hands on them and I feel that, you know, we're reflecting each other. So before I even start the session in my own self, I say, where am I needing a balance? So that comes in. And so now before sessions, I don't think in the last 4 years I had anyone like that, but I have in the past had that. And that I think that was more a reflection of my own self, kind of working through layers of brain patterns of codependence,
Hmm.
and then it reflected back on the people that came into my practice. Did that answer that
Absolutely,
question?
absolutely.
I
Because
always bring it back to myself, with that.
and that's the ultimate empowerment. And then you're modeling and that piece around magnetic attraction, we might be able to understand it mentally. And I talk about that in a lot of my classes. You talk about it in your practice. But once you've truly made that vibrational shift inside yourself, when that happens, then you can grasp it. And so I think the greatest challenge is sometimes people are like, oh, I just have to change my vibration and then I'll bring in something different, but it's all in the head. And so you just spoke to, like, you palpably can feel a shift inside yourself of you're not in a codependent relationship.
Yeah, I maybe those type of patients do come in. I don't recognize it because it's just not possible.
You don't
It's
engage.
I learned that from
Yeah.
you, honestly, watching how you hold your energy field. And I was very blessed to have like a lot of one-on-one teachings with you. So, not that you spoke, it's the way that you moved and the way that my body consciousness watched that and watching how things were activated. I was able to do that within myself. So now I'm able to hold these boundaries and not have to be like, okay, I'm holding boundaries. It
It's just
just
natural.
is. It really is. And it helps with because I've become more empowered
Right.
within myself and more anchored. So that also is a key to being a great practitioner as well as being able to hold my energy here,
Totally.
letting them do what they're doing,
Yeah.
not trying to control what they're doing
Right.
and working with them exactly where they are. And it gives them this huge space to shift and move or not shift and move. It
Right.
isn't up to me
Right.
because maybe in that not shifting, they're trying to activate a lot of internal lessons. And even though I may not want them to go have McDonald's every day, maybe they're getting information from that. And
Right.
who am I to say, you know? I
Right.
may say, okay, only have McDonald's half the amount of time you did last week. So it gives them that space to do and take responsibility for themselves. So I'm
Beautiful.
big on that.
So with that piece, and I'm backtracking a little bit, going off script,
I know. I'm
always going off script.
I love it.
You, the soul, riding in your body, because you really understand that concept in your body consciousness. What was it that you did inside yourself that broke the codependent pattern between you as a soul and your body?
I want to say that it was in layers. There wasn't just one thing. I think the biggest thing that I have done every day, consciously, unconsciously, every day, several times a day, it just is a brain pattern is I stop and I anchor here on my line.
Front of spine.
And I think that when I
Mhm.
pull myself in, that creates a little bit of shift,
No,
a
you
little
just, so
bit
you
more.
just did it more. And I just was like, oh.
Yeah. So I think that's the key of the answer to the question that you just asked. I kind of went a little bit up high, so I don't remember exactly the physical words you used, but I got the energy question, and I hope that I answered that.
Yeah, so
If that makes sense.
it's what you did was you said, because I was looking at, okay, what is the key piece that you did? Because I'm just looking at you and your body and then talking about your patients and encouraging them to move into a healthier, more empowered way of being with their own healing process. You, the soul, anchored yourself onto the front of the spine.
That's it.
And then you're holding a presence for
Mhm.
your body.
Yeah.
And then
And
your
both of
body
us
can
feel safe.
awaken. Exactly.
I feel safe holding the feet of my patients and touching them because I am fully here.
Right.
Yes, I may be looking and testing, but when I'm testing and I'm feeling them, I am literally filling into another dimension
Right.
and getting information with their body. It's just all layered.
So
Um,
you're
and
accessing
I've
that
never spoke
feedback
of this
loop.
before. It feels
Right.
really good to talk about this out loud because I don't talk about this all the
Right.
time. So
Right. We don't
thank
typically
you.
talk about how we do what we do.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the space to do that.
Well,
It's great.
you're a conscious multidimensional being, and it's so intriguing to kind of hear you talk about and process of you're holding your awareness in another dimension, you're using the physical dimension as the feedback loop, you're accessing information, you're helping people shift there, and then feeling the reflection here.
Yeah, yeah. I've learned so much from my patients. In fact, I've healed so much from the people that I've seen because I noticed that everybody that comes in, every single one, there's a piece that I need to learn.
Mhm.
So if they come in with back pain because they're feeling unsupported, the first thing I look at is And where am I feeling unsupported? And kind of start making that shift quietly.
Right.
It's not like I go through this thing and then I turn
And
that
you don't
shift.
spend your time talking about yourself in your sessions. Like you're just like,
Right. No, can't do all that. I
yeah,
do educate throughout the session because I'm really big when people come in on my table, they're like, oh, it's like a mystery. And I want to take the mystery out. I want to say, this is what I'm doing. I'm feeling your kidney energy right now. And now I'm pushing a point, and right now I'm taking the pulse for the heart. So I educate them. So it takes that mystery out. Also, it if anyone feels like they want to put their healing energy on me,
or give you
it's
mean give
kind of
responsibility to you.
yeah, get
Right.
responsible. I'm saying this is not yes, I'm intuitive, we all are, but this is things that I've trained for 20 years.
Right.
This is a training. Yes, I brought it up with my intuition, but I have been trained from teachers, Aleya, the most recent
Choa.
teacher for body feedback, Salo Stanley, Master Choa Koksui, um, Dr. Ko, and now Michelle Marimore, and other unnamed teachers that I don't even know, my patients. So
That's so
I'm
beautiful.
sorry, it's so exciting to
That's
speak
so
about
good.
that. I mean, I really am so grateful for the universe to bring me people that are these teachers in my life that I was just so receptive to. So,
Yeah.
I came here, but the teachers, I mean, I learned so much.
Well, and it's a collaborative process, and I think that it's always interesting, in the healing arts where somebody comes in with a problem, and if we hold it in a conscious way that it's actually not a problem, it's an opportunity for enlightenment. We all become more enlightened every single
Ah,
moment we connect with each other.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I try to do my best in my practice too. And I'm giving a little bit of secrets away. So if my patients see this, but if I feel an imbalance in the body, I try my best to look at the positive, like, oh, it looks like you're trying to balance your kidneys right now. And so I'm gonna assist in that. I'm gonna hold vigil for you to balance your kidneys because you're really trying hard, as opposed to, oh, it's kidney insufficiency. And
That
that's
something
a
is wrong,
practice.
as opposed to, oh, your kidneys are
Yes.
really efforting, and how can we give them even more support?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So in the next few months, because we're in the midst of summer, July, August, September, what do you sense people are working on, could tend, that they could be mindful of, and what are you seeing coming through your door?
The first thing that I'm seeing is that during this time in July and in the summer, people's heart chi is extremely expanded. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of like overjoy, which is great, but also burnout. And I'm not being negative with that. And the biggest thing that I tell my patients now is that they need to find bodies of water and they need to put their feet in the water. They need to find wet grass and they need to step on wet grass so they can bring that heart chi down into the kidneys. And during this time, it makes sense because everybody's hot, they're sweating, their pores are open. And so sometimes there becomes an imbalance with the heart and the small intestine and the triple burner, the lymph system, also the pericardium with the sac around the heart, and it just gets really fired up. And so the biggest thing I say to go home is to enjoy the watermelon. If you don't have allergies to it, enjoy water, wet soil, sitting and laying down, even in a cool, muddy. I mean, in my dreams, it would be like, let's get on some mud and some grass and just lay and let the body drain all that heat down into the kidneys. So the kidney, not drain into the kidneys, but out the feet into the earth so that their heart meridians and those fire channels can calm down because the emotions start
So
becoming affected.
essentially,
Right.
like nurturing the heart, nurturing the kidneys. And when you
Mhm.
were talking, I saw this, like, I want to call it like a heart fire hose, that we're just kind of
Yeah.
like spewing this heart fire hose, and that depletes the heart and then challenges the kidneys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how could people find you to work with you, to have an exploratory session, and maybe even for you to do an assessment with them to help guide
Okay,
them in moving into greater health with their body and their soul?
that's great. Yes. So I work with, I have a small practice. I have two locations, one in Coarse Gold up the foothills of Yosemite and then in Fresno. I don't have a website. I'm all about, you could put my phone number on there, and people can send me a text
A
and
text,
I'll
email,
respond.
phone.
Text, email, phone. That's how I do
Super
it.
simple.
I don't just do cold calls. So before you come into my office, I do a 15-minute intake. Consult to see if we're the right fit
Right.
and that it'll work. So that's how I do
Brilliant.
it. Really simple.
Brilliant.
If you're interested in what I do, you can call me up, and I have my bio on your thing. So you're going to put that bio.
Yeah,
So
and then we'll put a link underneath this video. We'll
yeah,
have your phone number. People can text you. They could call you. Probably text is maybe preferable.
Texas, I do mostly all text, and
Okay.
I'm old school. I'm very like, I don't have the website thing. I'm going to one day, but right now
Maybe,
I
but
do
maybe not.
intro.
And
I
your
like talking to
practice,
people in person.
and also too, for years, your practice has thrived because of referrals.
It's
And
all referral. Yeah.
yeah, and I truly believe that referrals have a vibrational match. It's like, oh, I can feel how this person might be really good for you. And that increases our success rate because it is a vibrational match as opposed to I've tried everybody and then you fall off and there isn't a consistency and a transformation that occurs.
And I don't take insurance. I see a patient every hour and a half. So I spend the whole hour and a half,
That's
not in the room, but
right.
I don't treat two patients at once. I
Right.
just stay focused on them. It's all about them. I try not to let my patients cross paths so they could stay in their own container. And that's why I only have to see them once a month.
Beautiful. Ashley,
Yeah,
thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, to share your wisdom, and thank you for doing what you do.
you're so awesome. Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
everyone,
amazing.
for joining us. It has been such a joy being in this container with you, and feel free to explore Ashley's material, content, her
Yeah.
wisdom, her information.
I would
Aho.
love to work with anyone that sees this. Yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You have been listening to the Cups of Consciousness show with me, Aleya Dow. Receive a free month of the Cups of Consciousness. Go to 7cupsofconsciousness.com. When you get your free month, you will get 5 cups a week for 4 weeks. You'll also receive access to a live Tall Cup of Consciousness session. Feel free to review the show. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Aho.